there we are. So this is the manifold that we showed you, which was prepped. The Billet manifold 2-piece for the Mark III Focus RS ST250. And as you can see, we've now got it back from the powder coaters, and it looks, we put the gaskets in, put the map sensor on, and it looks, I'll take the meth blanks out, so that's a meth boss blanks. Take them out, leave them in obviously, because then it doesn't, the thread doesn't get all painted up, does it? So we'll just run a chaser tap down through that, make sure it's all good, and then yeah, we'll show you as we go along, because this one will be running full port methanol. So as you can see, look, it's all in there ready to go. That's finished in satin black, looks beautiful. It's a bit grubby, obviously, where there's been fingerprints all over it, but that needs to be, that can be sorted out afterwards. It's no big deal. Obviously I thought I'd wash my hands before I go picking this up. And then this is the combo that we've gone for. So this is the actual plenum. So obviously that gets bolted on like that to the engine, all right? And then this gets bolted to the front of that, all right? So sort of like, I don't know, just do it like that, maybe. Sort of like that, look. Yeah, bolted like that. It's in 2 pieces. So we got to put all the ports in for this, which are all there, look, gasket and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so that's like the heritage colour orange, which is like teeth orange, deep orange, whatever you want to call it. The guys that we use at the powder coated, superb. They never let us down as yet. They always do a good job. So all we got to do now, next stage will be to bolt that onto the head, the engine. And then it's quite good at doing it that way actually, because it gives you more space, because obviously the plastic one is all in 1 piece, whereas this is in 2 pieces, so it's a lot easier to work with. And that'll look cracking when it's done, and then you'll see what colour meth lines we're going to have coming over it, and sort of like where we're going with the theme on this. Alright, so you got all your nuts and bolts here, all your stainless Allen key bolts to secure it. Like I said, the forward for the throttle body, your feeds onto the plenum bit. Yeah, swap the throttle body over and all that sort of stuff. Put the meth nozzles in, but we'll share all that with you as we go along. But yeah, looks cracking, and gonna let Megan when it's done. Right, so guys and girls, back onto Robert's update on that. We haven't done an update on it for a little while. We've been too busy trying to get the conversion done on it. But anyway, let's start on the back. In the back, there we are, Laura. Zoom in on that. So as you can see, look, it's a bit untidy in here. We've got low level sensor and feed, which goes to the meth pump. But this is just to show you what's going on in here. So basically, Robert supplied us with the Summit interior rear strut brace, as you can see, and it doesn't come that colour. The end plates were black. This was like natural billet silver finish. So that's been powder coated, as you can see, in the orange. Now this particular colour orange is like similar to the heritage colour for the Focus. And you'll see why Roberts chose that colour. And then when we move to the front under the bonnet, you'll see why he's trying to keep it in that. We'll put an MJP logo on that. That's what Robert wants. We've been doing various things inside the car with like plumbing in the electronic parking brake, because this is having one of our big brake kits front and rear, like our own RS, in the same colour orange. But we'll show you that when we get it. We'll present it on the bench, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll show it to you fitted. Obviously this is just wiring cables to feed to the float. We'll talk about that in a sec, because it's got a sender float unit for the meth tank, which nobody's done. One doesn't exist. It's never been done that I know of. So we talked about it and come up with the idea of having a float sensor with a gauge. So you've got the low level sensor that comes with that you can get with a meth kit, which just chucks up an LED light on the controller. But this is an additional gauge, so you can actually read it as well. So what we'll do now is we'll wander around to the front and show you what's been going on under the bonnet. So let's do that now. Right, so now you join us around the front of Robert's car. So I'll explain all as we go. One thing I was mentioned is, which is fair dues, we had a comment on the YouTube side of things with regards to when Timmy was videoing on Robert's, this particular car, all the bits and pieces which were laid out on the MOT ramp so we could get it all on the platforms. I was stood inside, and was I stood inside or was Timmy inside? I don't know. I think I was stood inside, or Timmy was inside videoing, and yeah, he sort of like made a bit of a hash up on the way he was zooming in and out, because it was more so on my emblem on my polo shirt, which was a bit annoying, but yeah, it is what it is. We couldn't redo it, but anyway, that's not going to happen again, because Timmy's not here anymore, so there we are. But anyway, we'll just move on swiftly from that. So there we are, look. So let's talk about, you've seen this before, the Pro Alloy header tank. It's gone for the satin silver, which is a choice thing, that or textured black. Both really nice, but you just wanted to have a bit of a mixed theme, Robert, on this one. 2 litre block, closed deck, all done, all painted, 2K'd in the grabber blue colour. We'll talk about the rest of the bottle and stuff in a minute. So all the internals, as you know, you would have seen if you've been following it, Arrow precision rods, Arrow crank, super light Arrow crank, all the race bearings, etc., baffled sump, Marla pistons. Was going to be on the video, it said JE pistons, which is what it was at the time. We managed to, we had them just in case we couldn't get the Marla pistons in time, but we managed to get them. They came through ideal. First and foremost, my choice is Marla pistons. That's it. Arrow precision rods, full stop. Marla pistons. So that was all good. Clutch, TTV. First, I think, not been done before. I think we're the first ones to be testing this. So Phil's on the Black Beast. That's got a twin plate clutch in it. That's a 230mm. That's twin ceramic, twin organic plates, augured, no problem. This one is a different one, revised to 15mm, and it's got twin ceramic paddle plates. So we haven't tested it yet, but obviously we tested the gears, of course we have, because we fired it up and it's all good. But until we get it on the road, a bit more heavy duty on the pedal. But yeah, all good. So again, there's lots of things here which we haven't done before, like the Arrow precision crank, like this clutch, and on and on. So some of it we haven't experienced before, so we'll find out what's going on there. The crossover, well, that is fairly new actually. That's not long been out from Airtech, so that's a stage 3 as they call it, bigger bore size, as you can see, quite big, biggest you're going to get really, but we've had to fiddle around with it a bit to get it to fit properly, so it looks right. This is just like, we just put that on, chucked that on for a minute and mocked it up just so we can fire it up and run it. And the main difference is that even to the extent of like the battery, so the original 4 battery that was in it, it was sort of like lost its efficiency a bit, and this is full of electronics, this car, and Robert's got quite a bit of add-on electronics with regards to gauges in this, in lights, in light bars, and loads of it, and it's all going to take extra strain on the battery. So we swapped it out and it's bang on, isn't it? So it's much better now, you're not getting any like mornings flashing up and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so let's move on to the things that you already know about, that you've seen before. You've seen my hose kit. This is the same as what we put on Phil's, in the grabber blue or nitrous blue, whatever you want to call it, but got our black logos on it, whereas Phil's has got the white. Black wasn't available at the time, but it is now. Radium PCV catch cam, just a single one, not the dual one. That's what Robert wanted. The meth kit, that was already installed, already done that before. We've had to revise it because it was black lines before. We've changed that to the blue lines, as you can see, which sort of like is quite fitting with the rest of it. Plumb all that back in. It's quite involved, and so the main party piece, if you want to put it that way, is the inlet, which is completely new. So this is a 2-piece billet inlet manifold. Superb. It doesn't come like that. It comes as a natural finished, or you can have it anodized by the engineering company that make it. The anodizing colors wouldn't have suited what we were doing because it wasn't the same shade. It would have looked a bit odd. Other than that, in the anodized orange, it's a bit of a shiny, more like transparent-y color, so it wouldn't really have worked. So I got that powder coat with. So the inner part, which is the manifold bit there, look, which comes with the meth boss is already in that one, in the runner's LUT, which is obviously ideal because this runs really important for us because it runs full port methanol. And the plenum in the orange, now you get the idea of the same colour orange, same as what's in the boot, same as what the brake's going to be, and all this sort of stuff. So that was really important. There's an option which we're talking about, which we're designing with the engineering company to put petrol meth ports in the plenum. So Richard is going to have that. So Richard's just there, look, which is the next one. He's going to be running Civex, and he's going to be running. We're going to have port injectors in the. He's not going to have them fitted up yet, but for when we're ready to do it, when he goes big turbo, etc. So that's what we're working on at the moment, and it works really, really well. I had to think about it because this is, as far as I'm aware, this is the first Mark III Focus RS in the UK that's had one of these fitted. The ones that have been sold have been to European community, European customers, to like ST250s, I think, not to a Mark III Focus RS. So this is the first time that one's been fitted to it. So we'll be really interested to see they've already tested it and got like 8 to 10 horsepower gains on the float just by fitting the manifold. That's without methanol. So with us fitting all that, we'll see what sort of gains that we get from it. But this car runs our custom software, which is done by Tommy at Velocity Tuning, with 2 different maps on it. It's running the 455 map at the moment, which is what we said to Robert. We're not going to give you the higher map, not on stock internals, stock block. It's all right for us. We got it on our car, but that's all right. That's running around in that and testing it, because we can deal with it if anything happens with it, but not on a customer's car. So this is now built super strong, and it will take that no problem. So yeah, we'll run it in on the 455 map. It's got running in oil at the moment, the 1040 competition running oil from Miller's. We'll run 500 miles on that, dump it out, and then we'll run it on the 040 Castro, dump that out, do another 500 miles on that, dump that out, and then change it again. And then we're sort of like done then. The engine's bedded in, run it in. I'll do all that because it's really important in the way that you do it, and you must do it properly. Well, do it to how I want to do it. And then we'll load up the other map, and then Robert can get on it then, and it'll be quite explosive, this car. It sounds nuts. We've already run it up. We've done our initial fire up, done 2 run ups on it now, got it to operating temperature, bedded the rings in a bit, and it's all so far spot on. Started on the button, bang, straight away, no delay, nothing. So really pleased with that. Just takes, you just need to be patient, that's all, and take your time and not rush things, and just check, double check, quadruple check if you need to, but make sure it's bang on, and everything's torqued correctly. And we only use the very, very best stuff we can. I don't mess around with anything else. I mean, Robert, we supplied this, but this is what he wanted. So, all right. Apart from that, little things like, I don't think I forgot to mention anything. I don't think so, but the oil cooler look. So if you come around, Laura, on the oil cooler, he's had this already. We fitted this last time, so we wanted it stenciled. We've stenciled that. That's an option. That's an extra. The Pro Alloy radiator, that's an addition to what we have for, obviously, on the header tank. We didn't have that before, so it's all little extras that he's had. We fitted at the same time. Went round here, Laura. So the KW suspension nut, which is there, look, which we fitted up. Laura's painted up the hubs because they were looking a little bit tired, so it just freshens them up a little bit. We'll adjust all that. That's the DDC plug and play ones. And on the rear, which is, as you can see, look, so that's the DDC plug and play on the rear as well. Same as what we got fitted on ours, same as what's on Phil's Black Beast. Laura's painted up the rear hubs. Hammerite we use, satin Hammerite's brilliant. It's proper metal paint, one coat done. Just feed the line through for the electronic parking brake, which we'll do later. Roll bars suspension, so to complement the KW DDC plug and plays, we've got the faux kit. So front anti-roll bar, rear anti-roll bar, drop links, brushes, white line. So we've set all that up. When we switch ramps, we'll put it onto the MT ramp, and then we can set all up caster, camber, do the alignment adjustments, do the height level, which we already know because we've based it on we took readings from before we touched it, because he had the eye bank, stroke mount tune, springs and standard shock, so that's all. We'll just recreate that, but still loads to do in the car. Yeah, it's getting there, but at least we've ran it up and fundamentals are done and everything is bang on. If we just have a little walk over here, Laura, there's two on the bench. So the tank that Robert had in it was this one. All right, so the tank that was in it was the 2.25 gallon American gallons. That is, viewers, all right. So don't get confused because their figures are not the same as ours. A bit like rolling road figures and BHP and horsepower figures, completely different. So you see it like, oh my God, look at that figure. It's not the same as ours. It's completely different, all right? So don't get too carried away when you read American figures on anything. So that is not UK 2.25 gallons, is it, Laura?
No, not dear.
No. All right, so that's what you had fitted before. We had the pickup there, low level sensor. That is being changed for still baffled race tank, 3 gallon. All right, but it doesn't, the good thing about this is the pump, where's the pump on that is, on this one, bolted onto there and it's visible. Those of you who've been following our channel, you'll see that that's what we fit, all right? The norm, really. But on the race tank, the 3 gallon one, you don't have any of that because it fits in there, all right? So it fits in there and then it's hidden. You don't see it. So when that's sat down, you don't see it. And then the lines run up through the tunnel bits there. There's your feed. It doesn't come a low level. So that's the low level sensor. There, look. So basically that goes in there and connect it all up. That's a low level sensor which will trigger on the controller, which is basically just a flash. It just lights up a blue LED which says you need to check your meth level. That's it. So what Robert wanted to do, he wanted a bit more, I don't know, he wanted something a bit better where he can actually see the level in there. Now, nobody that I know of has done this. Even Bruce at Devil's Own, they've not done this, not bothered doing it. Devil's Own, Cooler Mist, nobody does a proper sender unit to read your meth level. They don't. All right, you can have a sight glass, but that's not the same as it. So Robert came up with the idea, and he managed to get this. I don't know if we got it online somewhere. This is like a marine fitting sender for all types of fluid, I guess. He would have known it was for meth, but obviously Marines don't use meth today, but he's checked all that. Now it's quite an heavy duty one. It's really good. So we've had to obviously hole saw that in the correct place, drill it, bolt it all up. Not easy. So Laura had to get her little hands in there. I can't get my hands in there to hold the washer and the nut on the underside, the stainless washer and nut. Well, I do it up. So that's all where it's got to go, because then what that'll do then is it'll go through the tunnel like that, and the same with the low level. They both run under the tunnel and match up with where the wiring is and that, and the feed up to the actual feed from the tank. We tested it, brilliant. It works, brilliant. So he's got a gauge he's already put on a 3-stack pod on the right hand A-pillar, and it's a good idea, great idea, because it shows you what. It's not going to be super exact, but it's going to be pretty close. All right, so that's a good idea. But we're going to fit all that up, and then we'll show it to you then, and then you can keep an eye on it. So you'll have two. You'll have a backup with that, and then you'll have one reading it live gauge, and the other one will be the LED just pinging up when it gets low anyway. So yeah, that's that side of it. Loads to do on that. That's the brackets that go with it, and yeah, so we got loads and loads to do on it still. Brakes will be interesting. Should have them soon. We'll put them all out on the bench, and then we'll talk to you, because it's different on this. And this kit that he's having fitted on this, similar to ours on our car, but it's custom, and I'll explain all that to you when we get it on the bench. All right. So yeah, quick update. We'll do more later as we go, and then we'll be cracking on then with Richard. Got me. So loads and loads to do. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys and girls, and ciao for now. We'll see you soon.